What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the LS3 G35 build. If you're looking over my shoulder here, you can see that we've gotten quite a bit done since the last video. We got almost everything done on the front end now. Everything is tied up, everything's mounted, everything's powder coated. The only thing really in the engine bay left to do is to finish the wiring harness. This shouldn't be too difficult. We've used this harness before. We helped develop it with the LS swapped 350Z that you guys are all familiar with. So this shouldn't be a big deal, but we wanted to document how we did it and just kind of show you guys how simple it is. Haltech's figured most of that stuff out for us. So without further ado, let's get after it. Like I mentioned, the entire front end is now assembled. We even got the bumper on there. That's just temporary. I'm sure we'll have the bumper on and off a couple of times while we're doing this wiring. We moved the car over to the 4-post lift, not just because it's easier to open the door to get into the inside, but also because the 350Z is officially on the 2-post lift, which I think you all know what that means. It's finally gonna get worked on after all these years. So excited for that. But back to the project at hand. We've got lots of wiring coming through the firewall. I already made the hole in the firewall so it's nice and clean coming through. Let's see if I can show you that. This car is so black after we painted the engine bay that it becomes difficult to see things. But if you can see down here, nice clean hole there, going into the firewall and coming out into the inside of the car, which is why we need it on the 4-post lift, because just like we have some work to do in the engine bay, we've got a little bit more work to do on the interior. Plugging away, plugging away. Had to get to a stopping point the other day when I was working on it. We realized that we were missing the coil pack harnesses and a couple of sensors, like the map sensor, the engine coolant temp sensor, and some knock sensors. I know we don't really need knock sensors, but we just wanted to make sure we had everything. So, ordered those while I was away at IndyCar this weekend. So here's the coolant temp sensor, here's the knock sensors, 2 of those, and here's the map sensor. Got OEM ones. Figured that would be the best thing to do. But more importantly, and much cooler, we got the awesome harnesses for the coil packs from our buddies at Wiring Specialties. You see they're perfectly made. I already made sure they clipped up perfectly. It's right length, everything. On top of that, we also got the GM accelerator pedal connector from them, so we can wire it up to the ECU. We had to swap the pedal over on the race car to that from the Nissan one when we switched to the LS. And we also got some new injectors from Teachworks, so figured we might as well just put some new ones in there as well. We had some that we were using for mock-up, but here are the new ones. I tell you what, I feel like I should be done. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 injectors, right? I don't know what to do with myself with these extra 2. V8 life, I guess. That was the first thing I thought after I got through 6. I was like, man, there's a lot of these. Oh yeah, that's because you run a V8 now, because you're finally smart. Well, it took you 10 years of running a Time Attack Infinity, which was the first mistake. And now it's just a wannabe Infinity Corvette, like everybody else. Putting the injectors into the manifold first. Seemed like it was a little bit happier when I did it that way. Let's get them down in there a little bit. We'll let them seat themselves once we get the bracket on. Alright, go ahead. That looks good. Close enough. I'm going to come over here and make sure we line them all up. It's kind of a precarious position on this lift. So you got to kind of set it down partially and then switch over to the side. Gotta clear those vent tubes too. Alright. There she is. We kind of plugged away with a bunch of stuff. We got all of the wiring in the trunk done, which I'll show you here in a second. You can see we got it cleanly wired back in. Comes over there, gets to the middle. And we started to organize. We added a lot of the relays in. We tried to centralize everything to where we had put some of these electrical components last time. So now we're just, you can see I've organized it here. Got a couple more wires we got to run up and across to like the throttle pedal, and then I can organize the rest. I know it looks like a lot right now, but a lot of this is just excess. Some of these wires have to go through the firewall and back out into the engine. But we're getting much closer. We decided to go ahead and not put any electrical stuff up here like we had originally planned, and decided to put it all inside the car where it's away from engine oils or anything like that, away from heat, and also easily serviceable as well. So yeah, looking pretty good so far. All right, got the trunk wiring done to the fuel pump, got the taillights all done. So you can see I got all that stuff's organized. Taillights all work, so that was fun to figure out. Not really a big deal, we just kind of spliced into what the original harness was. But yeah, she's all done. So everything in the rear end is now done. I can go ahead and put the wing back on, which is on the ground. And then we're done on the backside. All that's left is in the interior and finish the engine bay. Moving along, slowly but surely. Wiring is certainly a tedious process, and we went ahead and rewired pretty much everything on this car. I mean, there's not a single wire left on this car that was originally there, so certainly have our work cut out for us, but we're past the hard part at this point. Now it's just a matter of doing it.
Alright guys, I'm not gonna lie, I was really bad about filming this episode. It's Father's Day weekend. I was really sick the last few days, but me and my dad, I just had a cold, me and my dad, Father's Day, went and wired this entire damn car. Still waiting on our battery from anti-gravity batteries, so don't mind that there, it's just a placeholder. You can see we got all of our relays and everything mounted in a central location, got the EC all wired up. That's the switch panel, it's just kind of laying down right now. All that's done. Once we get the dash back in, we'll mount that back up. Everything's going into the engine bay. Everything on the footbox is done. That blue wires for my radio. Got the pedals all sorted. Clutch switch, brake lights, throttle pedal. Everything is sorted. We've actually already tested everything too, and everything is working. Got the engine bay all wired up. Tested the starter. We've pretty much tested everything. Got it all cleaned up. Got all the final wiring done. She's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with her. And we got so much done this weekend that last night I even went ahead and started putting some sponsor vinyl on. How good does that look?